Just waiting for YouTube here. Keep seeing some old streams come up, but not seeing the live stream. There we go. Okay. All right. So good morning, everybody. Welcome back from our 3-day weekend. Happy Independence Day for those living in the U.S. and for everyone else, just welcome back to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it is July 5th, 2022. So welcome to the second half of the trading year. Obviously, we had a lot of downside volatility in the first half of the year, one of the worst performing starts to a year since multiple decades, and a lot of investors and traders are kind of looking for what the next couple of months will look like. We're still obviously in a period of a bit of uncertainty in regards to higher inflation readings relative to expectations, along with whether or not the subsiding of those readings or the eventual topping out of those readings will cause the market to react in any significant way. Now, for the purposes of the show, we'll obviously kind of narrow it down a bit more and get into character for the week ahead of us. But it's important to look at some of our bigger picture concepts as we move into July, mostly because of our delineation in regards to time. The fact that it is a new month, so we'll certainly look at our monthly candles and the structure of the market on the monthly time frame, and then just kind of roll that into some ideas for the week as we look for some trade ideas and some opportunities stepping into July. So first things first, let's look at our expected move for the SPX. Now, the week prior to the holidays, we were looking at about 112 point expected move, and that's marked by these July 1st markers. And one thing we kept noticing week after week is the SPX expected move was a poor representation of actual volatility throughout the week. Usually we were seeing significant breaches both to the upside and to the downside. And these breaches were such that the market actually moved away from these expected move bounds in a pretty aggressive fashion. We have a number of examples from the week prior where we had about a 2 sigma expected move. We had a downside move that occurred a couple of weeks ago, and that obviously was a major selling event after higher than average CPI data readings. But even in between all of that, we've seen lower bound breaches, not of the same volatility, but well outside of what the market was pricing to that week. And then a couple of sessions prior to that, we've seen some additional upside breaches. So there were multiple examples of week after week where the SPX was getting actual volatility wrong on the prior week's session. And when we're using this as a tool to gauge how wide does the market expect to move this week, we want to understand, one, what does it look like? And two, is it accurate? I would say that over the past month and a half, this has been a very poor gauge of accuracy as to what to expect. And unfortunately, the analysis remains the same. You just anticipate different behavior during that period of time. Another way to think of it is markets often will go through periods of high efficiency where things like expected move work week after week. Market stays relatively range bound or just a slower spread, and the volatility can kind of captures that price movement. Markets will then shift into periods of inefficiency, usually during uncertain times. And that's where the market is trying to price what the price movement looks like, sometimes getting it right and sometimes getting it quite wrong. So these dynamics, the fact that the market can and sometimes will go into these periods of flux, and then of course the restabilization of the market are moments in time where we need to be careful as traders. For one, you don't want to be on the wrong side of a trade, especially if it has other dynamics in place. And two, certain strategies work better when the market is behaving a certain way. In an inefficient market, it actually makes a lot of sense to go pay for debit, mostly because if you're positioning well and early, the premium that you're paying for is going to often expand on the right side of the trade, and the volatility expansion will also assist in your trade being very successful. And this is, of course, from an option trading perspective. Now, for a day trader, excuse me, for a day trader, we might also want to know when these breaches occur, along with what the market is pricing for the week. So as we shift into our current week's expected move, a couple of notes. One thing, it's a 4-day trading week, so we have a relatively lower expected move simply because we only have 4 days of trade. Secondly, last week was the first week in a while where the SPX closed inside of its expected move. We did technically break outside for one session. You'll notice a closure that occurred outside of expected move. And then on Friday, the market was able to recover back within. And that, of course, is what the expected move is trying to represent. Where is the market likely to close from a statistical probability on the Friday, especially since we're using Friday expiration. So for this week, market's only pricing about 93 points of expected movement, and that's of course from Friday's close. One thing we might want to consider is that this is the first week where the market is attempting to reclaim efficiency, where the market is showcasing that, hey, we might actually start respecting these expected moves a bit more, and obviously an additional data point would be of use. Additionally, when we look at expected move, we also want to look and see, is there any technical significance to these levels? If we test one, will we see something like confirmed uptrends, breakouts or breakdowns, or will there be a lot of pressure on one side of the market relative to what we know structurally? And I would argue that the top side is hitting at least our most recent resistance point, and that's going to be our most recent sell-off point, whereas our downside really just kind of retests the lows from Thursday. Not really of too much structural significance unless we breach outside of this level. So these areas, and the fact that this week doesn't necessarily have a strong catalyst, set of catalysts for the market to really respond to, is something that we can kind of monitor for now. If we see a strong reaction midweek, these expected moves become targets and obviously a guide for where we can expect the market to go. And then of course, if you're selling premium, this might be the first week where you step your toes back into weekly options for, in this case, selling premium in the SPX. This is mostly because in prior weeks, unless you were on the right directional side of the trade, you often were actively managing or sometimes reassessing risk as an income or premium seller style trader. These breaches are often what test option sellers, and usually the breaches are repairable to some degree, but often not necessarily profitable or rewardable if you've set up your trade early in the week. So last but not least, there are still some structural gaps. You'll see these on the S&P ETF as well, but I wanted to showcase the gap structure that we had from our most recent, I'll say 2022 low. This is our June 17th low. We do have a small structural gap below us, and then we do have an unfilled gap during the impulse wave lower, a bit of a runaway gap. Those are often harder to fill, but they do offer us another resistance point if the market were to climb a bit higher than our most recent sell-off point. So that's what our S&P looks like, and you'll also note we're still sitting around a lot of congested areas for fib retracement level. That 38.2 is still in play, along with the 20% all-time high drawdown, which I've left on the chart until we sort of move away from this area. Now, a couple of additional points for moving into this week. There's the idea that as we kind of shift into new quarters, often fund managers, different larger money participants will start to reallocate, possibly rebalance, and sometimes actually allocate further into new positions. And usually whenever this occurs, there are often very mild initial signals that the market is doing something new, along with the idea that the market may be starting to rotate or position around different sectors, different asset classes, and obviously just look to get into positional risk or portfolio risk relative to what the economic climate looks like. Now, for July, I'll just start off with the month of July. There's obviously going to need to be a little bit of time to identify some of these signals. We've postulated last week and maybe the week prior that one area of the market that might be of interest is healthcare. The reason being is it had some of the most significant upside on the most recent rally in the market. It actually was one of the major contributors to the SPY bouncing due to the size of certain companies like United Healthcare, J&J, and then as we go down the list, the Pfizers, the AbbVies, the recovery on these stocks is noteworthy, along with a lot of them having technical breakouts, whether it be actual pivots being broken, these are going to be horizontal pivots, or just breaking through trend lines, an example with AbbVie that we covered last week. So what does this mean for us as potential traders for the rest of the month and maybe for looking into Q3? One thought here is that the market may start to reward these particular stocks a bit more on bullish moves in the market. If healthcare is starting to showcase more demand than supply, then obviously these stocks should have structural uptrends starting to form. It's a bit early to tell, but you can kind of see that the moves are worth paying attention to, especially in some of the larger market cap names. We also saw a lot of bullish behavior occurring in biotech. And here I just have XBI to showcase it, but we called out the idea that this particular market is in an interesting spot. It's got monthly support. It's also got a bit of a high volume reaction against this area. And we've got some bullish behavior starting to form here with the concept that this is really just looking for a monthly bounce or something of a monthly lower high to form in the future. which obviously facilitates more upside than downside. So these two markets responding, I'm gonna need to take a drink, apologies. Sometimes I can get the thing out of my throat, sometimes I can't. Okay, let's try that again. So whenever we see the market start to potentially reposition, we need some indication that what was working has stopped, or at the very least is taking a moment to consolidate, to pull back. And then of course, this might be the beginning of the end for certain types of trading. And one thing that was carrying most traders' attention has been the energy market. Now, I bring up the monthly because for the most part, the monthly will show the type of drawdown we've seen over June, and the concept behind this particular trade maybe being a bit over or just short term, not necessarily going to be making new all-time highs anytime soon. But energy stocks do appear to have topped out for the time being. We've seen significant drawdowns in natural gas, the shorter term distribution, and then the breakaway with some of the catalyst news in regards to liquefied natural gas. We're monitoring things like gasoline, which are hitting things like 20-year highs. They're also hitting just relative highs in this particular product, but you can see that they are extended. And the monthly is showcasing the potential for these areas of the market to consolidate or simply not to facilitate a lot more upside for the time being. And then last but not least, crude. Now, crude certainly has a lot more complexity than a technical chart, but as evidence is building that the energy market might be a bit extended and that a lot of trade is kind of somewhat bullish in nature, but starting to structure itself with the idea of consolidation, crude and the forces controlling the macro side of crude pricing are things that we want to pay attention to really facilitate this trade being over, the likes of energy in regards to a cycle being complete. Now, we're obviously still going to see a lot of news regarding certain firms and banks indicating that oil might be priced at certain levels by the end of the year. They provide sort of their analysis of why that may be true. For us and for the purposes of the show, I'm showcasing what the chart is showcasing. And this is simply the fact that this is a larger trading area of the market. Crude obviously has highs and lows based on inflection and pricing levels that went parabolic. And then we have a steady uptrend that's occurring mid-range, along with the idea that due to the size of this trading range, our volume profile is stacking up where certain claims can be made. Things can be overpriced and underpriced within this range. And until that breaks, nothing really changes from a trading perspective. So with the energy trade in this state, with potential for the market to rotate into other sectors, and obviously looking for those clues, we're looking for signs that the market is rewarding risk-on type sectors, ones that carry market cap relative to the S&P and to the NASDAQ. Are we looking at essentially market cycles starting to recover? I'm certainly paying attention to the likes of financials simply because of the drawdown and the technical levels are of interest. They're hitting pre-COVID drop highs. They're getting monthly and weekly bottoming tail structures. And we're just starting to see the potential for this market to stabilize, not necessarily to go straight up, but obviously to avoid additional downside in the market. The main theme that's been carrying market participants' trade ideas, which is go down or bearish trades in a downtrend. And with all of that, last but not least is, what does the market tell us on our higher time frames? So for this one, we'll just kind of look at things from, just delete everything here. We'll look at the size of the drawdown relative to our monthly. And we'll talk about, has the market hit an area that often will showcase bottoming action? From this perspective, what we've often seen over the past couple of years is that major drawdowns outside of financial crashes have often responded quite well to the 50 period on the monthly. The market hasn't quite made it to this level, but we're getting to that area. And obviously the overextension, the overreach that we saw during 2021 has made the moving average quite far away from a pricing perspective. It's about a 25 to 30% drawdown in total. And it's one of the concepts behind why a lot of market participants are anticipating about 350 S&P before seeing anything of structural significance for a bounce. You'll notice a lot of our bear market drawdowns have tested or hit the 50 before seeing upside, but it hasn't always been true. There's been cases where we've kind of skirted away from the 50 period before seeing new highs in the monthly uptrend. And what's interesting about this is, while we are technically in a monthly downtrend due to the bounce that occurred in March, there is this idea that the market is simply retesting an area of breakout. And that, of course, occurred during the election cycle back in late 2020. So this area of confluence, the fact that the market really hasn't done anything notable for a bullish stance to be claimed, but looking for what history has provided in regards to drawdown potential, obviously the market's anticipation for further downside, and just looking to risk or reward. Does it make sense to continue shorting the market relative to anticipating something much steeper, especially since we are looking at other drawdowns historically, and where do they tend to bottom out? Now, a few notes here in regards to the SPY and the NASDAQ. You'll also note that the NASDAQ's drawdown on the monthly time frame is bringing it approximately to the 50 period. And as we look historically, we've seen other drawdowns, at least on this trend line, get close to the 50, but never really respond to it. We haven't actually had a test of the 50 until I would say 2010, and that was after the financial crisis. Notable, however, that we are still so far extended from this trend line, and this is sort of a case to the bearish side as the market maybe continues to draw down or to revert to some relative mean reversion. The idea that the 50 period here is not something that the NASDAQ really has any relative structure towards. Usually it can pull into this area somewhere between the 20 and the 50 and then reclaim. And that's certainly what we'll be looking for here. But the width and the deviation from the moving averages, the fact that they are spread quite far apart, and then our bearish case where we could easily return to a trend line, a very established trend line back since 2014, 2015, means that this drawdown could actually continue for a while. So there's always going to be the case of, what's our bear structure? What's our bull structure? What can we look forward to maybe into the month? And short term, what are we trying to anticipate for the next couple of days, weeks, and then moving into longer time frames? One note that I'll leave you with is, last week we had a very short-term potential for the market to establish a potential higher low. The reason we can claim this on this time frame is simply because we did have a bottoming candle, something structurally important for this wave down, and we did close higher on the following session. So we have a pivoting structure. This trend line, however, obviously needs confirmation. We need the market to go into a daily uptrend. We also need to understand if the market response on retests is going to be net bullish. And that's where we can kind of dig into shorter time frames, look for those structural breakouts, and obviously play the price action in front of us. One thing I'll say though is be cautious looking at things in speculation. We're still obviously very bearish on short to medium term timeframes, and we're mostly looking for the market to provide something different, something new that will surprise most net participants in the market today. Whenever we see these potential areas, we want to focus in. We want to maybe play towards that as it starts to provide more information. And then obviously this is going to be a more confirmed trend line if we ever break our swing high. And that's of course where we're setting up a daily uptrend with confirmation on a higher high. So with all that said, this is very technical in nature. We're going to start digging a bit more into some market internals this week, how to use that in your day-to-day trade, along with the upcoming catalysts and just additional information for the week ahead. As always, my name is Jared. Stay tuned for pre-market prep. Hopefully you've enjoyed this session, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
All right. Good morning, my friends. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible holiday weekend. Welcome to the PreMarket Prep, guys. Let's get to it. Shout out to Jared for engineering the markets every single morning. Let's give him a thumbs up there. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good. Good morning, brother. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Can't complain. How was your holiday weekend? Hopefully, you had a good time.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was good. It was 3 solid days of fireworks, which meant my dog was spooning me every night.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Uh, 70-ish pound pit bull, sleeping with her arm over me and trying to put her head under the covers. But it was fun. Hopefully you had a good time.
Yes, yes. We actually both my kids, my son were sick all weekend, starting Friday, and
Oh, dude.
it's been it's been it's been hell, man. Running on fumes right now. Then my daughter got it yesterday night, and she got it pretty bad. So we had people over on
What
yesterday, and
what was it? A stomach bug or something?
no, they just have this viral thing that's going around with the kids. It's not COVID. I got him tested, so he's fine. But the doctor says it's just going around, man. It's just this viral thing between the kids. So,
Yeah.
just regular cold, but the fevers. I mean, 103 for both of them back
Oof, that
nonstop.
always sucks, dude.
It's just been hell. Just now, my daughter did a little mess in the kitchen there, so she's not feeling well. So it's been a
Sorry,
hell of a
man.
ride. But
Yeah,
overall,
that
man,
sucks.
it is what it is. These kids are in this
Sorry to hear
time.
it.
It's tough. So, guys, let's take a look at our gappers list this morning. We got a bit of stuff here in the green. For the most part, a lot in the red as a SPY is a slightly, well, not slightly, it's down 1.1% at the moment there. So we'll take a look at that. But as you can see, that's reflecting on some of our tickers here, starting with the gap down list. You can see a couple of names showing up now. And I'm sure if the SPY continues, that is going to get much bigger as we go through this show here. So Norm, let's go straight to our market pulse and kind of what's happening for today and this week as we are
Yeah, I mean,
short week back, right?
with
So
a for short week, I anticipate some. I mean, not that we can't move directionally, especially down, but maybe lighter than normal action with some people out for the week. If they took an extra day or two or the whole week off, we'll see. But yeah, 10 a.m. we've got factory orders and core capital equipment orders revision, and then the big thing we're gonna have on let me see here. We've got the next really big stuff coming out. Um, my dates got all messed up in my long term stuff. I apologize. We've got the jobless numbers, retail sales, import price index, all that kind of stuff coming next week. Later this week on Wednesday, 2 p.m., we don't see minutes. So we'll have the kind of guide to what they were discussing when they came up to rate policy that they passed 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Non-farm payrolls, job numbers for June will be coming out on Friday. So we've got a lot of data coming up, and then CPI numbers again next Wednesday. Hello,
oh, sorry, I'm here talking with my mic on mute, so apologies. So good information coming out. Hopefully things, um,
David's
yeah,
David's on the ball over there on YouTube, reminding me that earnings come out next week. I can barely remember the date, so thank you.
yep. Already, man, feels like we just got off them. But yeah, looking forward to that. It's always a good time to get some good movements there. All right, guys, let's remove our watch list from Friday. So Control A, Control X does that here, and then let's get right into what's going on now. So let me link my trade ideas. We'll do that by going to Tools, External Linking, and apologies, guys, I'm moving a little bit slow today. Add link, and we'll do Shift here, and that should be good. Okay, excellent. Let's see what's gapping up today. The one that's been making a lot of noise over the last couple of weeks is REV, Revlon. And this one, even with the volume, doesn't trade very well. I mean, I've seen some of the intraday action on this thing. I don't like it at all. This morning, they have 765,000 with a not so great pre-market activity. So again, as you can tell, I'm not a big fan of this one. I think we'll find something better to watch today. So low flow stock, it is in play. I know that some people are watching it, so I will put it here as a reference for you. But for the most part, I won't be touching that. I probably won't be trading at all today now that I think about it. STM this morning, this one is gapping down 7%, 184,000. Now I know they are foreign, but this is a big drop here.
Yeah, this is a semiconductor
Okay.
stock. And that whole segment, we've talked about it
Yeah.
recently. That whole segment's been down in the toilet. I'm not seeing anything specific on them, but I see others. TSM on here, Nvidia. So it looks like that space getting hit this morning.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. We know MU had earnings last week, and they're
Yeah.
down 2% as well. AMD, I do see them down nice 2%. Yeah, so that's that. There seems to be something going on there. That's definitely in play. I don't like STM as much, but I will be looking at, like you mentioned, AMD will be on the deck here, and we'll definitely put Nvidia for now. I think these two are really, really good for the most part. Next, we have CCL. We got CUK. If you don't know, that's a different share class of CCL. CCL usually is the one that gets the better volume, and we're back down to some lows here. Well, lows from last week, 812. So we're just in the area here, as we are down 4.8 this morning. So I think that's a good one. Volume 887. This could be nice today. So CCL on deck. As you guys know, they had horrible news last week, also the week before, about the amount of debt that they're in. So we'll see how that goes. FCX here. We've seen this one in our list before. I don't like the way it trades. I think there's better trading opportunities. They're down 3.5. I just think we can find something better to trade. So I'll skip on this one. RELX. This morning we are down 3.3. I don't see a great market
No.
activity here. That's just no. In the daily is horrible. Yeah, this is not good. CLF, another one that Cleveland Cliffs here that doesn't look great. It doesn't trade great neither in the intraday. So we've seen this one plenty of times, guys. I'm not a fan of it. BHP. Today we are down 3.1 in
No.
no. Normally,
If you're not going to trade Freeport McMoran or Cleveland Cliffs, I wouldn't touch this one.
You're not going to touch
the other two. They're moving on similar catalyst, and this one's complete garbage. So
now, Oxy, is Oxy in movement with these companies or no?
No, it's there. I mean, it's commodities and materials and such, oil compared to metals, but
right.
There were some analyst notes that came out saying, I'm trying to remember which one it was, but one of the major banks came out and warned that oil prices could fall quite a bit. Like, I can't even remember which bank it was. Anyway, but a huge drop essentially coming up on recession fears and demand waning due to that. And then, oil essentially being half of what it is or even lower next year at some point. So,
yeah, it's definitely going to cause some concerns. But, we'll see how that reacts. It's big news, by the way. NCLH here on deck as well. Again, similar situation as CCL, just travel getting knocked a bit here. They don't have great volume, though. CCL will be the one to watch today, at least for right now. BBWI, we'll stop here because we got a whole list going here. BBWI, oh no, this is no good. This is a block trade here. No. Delta Airlines, I see the travel sector here. Delta is down 2.6. Not great volume. Again, all these travel companies is getting slammed. American Airlines 310, also not great volume. But I will put American Airlines on here just to see how this week is going to start with the travel companies. NVIDIA we have on deck. Ford. Are we missing anything good on Ford that we need to be aware of? Down 11, down 2.3. I don't see anything great on it at the moment. So, all right, we'll stop
they
here.
had a recall on their new Lightning F-150s, and they just started selling them. So that's
I know
not
it
good.
just came out. that is not fun. So that's no good for them. But again, a very tough ticker to trade here. All right, cool. This list is going to keep growing, guys. As the spike continues to drop here, this list will get bigger. So we can always come back and take a quick peek at it. Norm, anything you like on your end this morning?
No, man. I'm gonna take it slow today. Start off slow, see how it goes.
Yeah.
3 days of I've got a bit of a foggy brain this morning.
I'm there with you, my friend. I'm telling you, I'm running on fumes, and you could tell with just how slow we're moving here this morning. But all good, my friends, all good. Let's see, guys, in the room, what do you guys like this morning? What is on your list that you're looking at? NVIDIA, we have, that's a good one there. NVIDIA, AMD, and CCL on deck so far. Let's take a look at MRTX. What is this one? Yang Chu is giving us that one. Oh, no. So Yang Chu, this one here, I mean, you got no volume right now on this at all. And even if you did, it looks like a very choppy type ticker. The last couple of days, not bad. So I don't know what they did here, but for the most part, just look at the volume. You're not getting no movement on this. So that's not going to be fun. Not our type of ticker. CRW crowd, CRWD crowd this morning is down 2.1. No volume on this thing. More on the difficult side to trade this ticker. There's been some days where they get somewhat significant volume, but for the most part, they're very choppy. So I'm not a huge fan of them. See LYT popped up on the gap up list. Let's just see what's going on there. LYT, no, this is
It
not
was
sure.
on there earlier, but this
Oh,
is
it was?
that
Okay.
crazy one we spoke about last week that
Oh yeah. We're talking about this daily here. It's just insane. So yeah, we're staying away from that. Let's head on over to PDD Amazon. Oh, right here, Amazon. I missed that one. AMZN. So Amazon for the most part, not huge volume. 358. You know, they're a great intraday trading stock, though. I got to tell you that. Maybe Apostle for now. They can trade very, very well. They get great value for the type of price that it is now. PDD. Greg is giving us PDD. Not great. I do like their daily. I think they can be in play. They're down 1.2 here. They're hitting this area of resistance here on the daily, which is nice a couple of times. We're slamming against that today, this morning. But I would love to see a better pre-market activity. And I just noticed the volume too. Volume is extremely light, only at 72,000. So we need just a little bit more on that. But the daily looks good. I see what you're looking at. That does have potential. Yeah, the Qs, SQQ, VIX, you can definitely be watching those, and we usually do in the chat room. So we see some opportunities of things trending. Those can be great traders. Not so much the VIX, but especially the Qs, SQQ, TQQ, and the actual Qs. You can take some opportunities there. PFE, very light volume on Pfizer right now, guys. 56,000. It's just not enough to put it on the list at the moment. RBCN, and also even when it does have volume, very tough ticker to trade. So on that type of ticker, you want to see really good volume, a nice flow very early on to put it on your list. RBCN, this is up 71% today. What we got going on here? Rubicon Technology. So they're getting a nice pop this morning. Let me check what is their float. RBCN. What do we have going on here?
they've got somebody
2.7.
buying a chunk of them. I don't know if it's the whole thing. It's a cash tender offer at $20 a share.
So this was basically dead before. I mean, this daily one is just brutal.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know. Maybe with the news, it's
low float, 2.27
yeah.
million.
Be extremely careful with this, guys. It's in play. It's moving here, up 70%, 978,000. We'll have it on here. We'll come back to it. Let's come back to that. All right, Oxy. You know, I looked at Oxy earlier. I didn't see anything great. Could be a good secondary one because we know that Oxy doesn't put in a great pre-market activity. It can still give you a very nice day. So, Michael, we'll put Oxy here on the secondary list. BA Infamous, BVZ, BA. Let's take a look here. No, pretty quiet right now. It's not really in play at the moment. No volume, only down 1.8, which is not bad. We're sitting between all this area here. So again, not a bad one on BA. I'm not a good one on BA right now. Roblox wants to crash and burn already. What's going on with Roblox? Rage TV, Roblox is not doing what you wanted it to do. Right now we're down 1.3, 119,000. Again, just not really in play right now. So we'll keep it to the side for the most part. All right, that's our list. Norm, do you have anything you like this morning? I know it's not great selections out
It's the
there.
second time you've asked me, and I still have nothing.
They still have nothing. I actually tried to see. You can tell I am not myself today. All right, guys, let's go over to our community events and announcements. And Norm, I apologize. I don't know. I didn't even check if you even sent me an email, man. I'm so sorry.
No, just go to the webinars page.
Okay. we're gonna
I've
go
been
do
skipping
that.
the email for now because it's been changing a little bit.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
generally do these in 6-month segments and get them all set up. And just because we're right at that 6-month period and we're making some changes,
Mm-hmm.
we going this route instead because they're changing and I was giving bad info. So a reminder, every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, is the onboarding with Carlos. C-Dog, what you're doing it tonight, right? You got back-to-back
Yeah.
webinars on
Back
top
to
of
back.
all this other BS going on? Man.
I know, man. 7 and 8 tonight, guys.
Sorry, brother.
Stay tuned for that.
All right. So orientation onboarding tonight, 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm dragging. All right. Then Tuesday, tomorrow, tonight, we are talking about pre-market analysis and risk management. Next week, market theory with Thor at 8 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday, psychology. This week, we've got Dr. Kenneth Reed talking about 10 things you need to know about bear markets. And then next week, we've got Trada. There you go. There's a good nickname, at least. Improving your way to trading success. Imagining your way to trading success. Man, what did they do to me this weekend? Somebody said it was too many. Somebody said we were. It was too many Lone Stars. Unfortunately, Lone Star got bought out by Russians about 10 or 15 years ago. So no more Lone Stars around here. Thursday, mentoring with John at 11, Ed at 4, Thor at 8. And don't forget about stocktradingsimulator.com, our free web-based trading simulator. Also check out tradingterminal.com while still in the early versions of it. It is our, check that out when you get a chance. And then if you're watching on YouTube, haven't been in the chat, you can do so at a discount. Use the promo code PreMarket24. You'll get 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. Doesn't auto renew or turn into any other kind of membership. And then the Read 50 promo is still active. I know it's going away soon. Got maybe a day or two left. So check that out. Half off the annual elite membership and a free one-on-one coaching session with Dr. Reed.
All right, thank you very much, Norm. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's get some levels in here. Let's look at our watch list and start setting up. So right now, not a whole lot going on. We only have AMD, NVIDIA, CCL, Oxy, American Airlines, and Amazon as possible. Then we got some other ones that are really in play here, low flow type stuff you want to be very careful with on the riskier side. So just be mindful of that. Let's see over here. So just be mindful of that there. So let's see. All right, so far starting with AMD, that one looks really good, guys. Again, very active right now, 728,000. Let's remove some of these levels. As you can see, this thing's been getting just crushed the last couple of days. We are back-to-back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red days in a row. And today's not starting so hot. So question YouTube, do you guys think this market crash will last longer than usual? I don't know. I mean, I agree with no, we haven't crashed yet, right? But we definitely on a bear market, no question. But we'll see. We just don't know. Love the pre-market here, 72.13 on AMD towards the top, guys. You got plenty here. Highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, previous day close, all doing a pretty good job up here. And I think last time we were down here it was a long time ago. We are May. Let's see, May 2021. Did we actually hit some numbers here? Oh, I'm trying to zoom in here. Is that gonna work? There we go. We're just right below that. So if you look at the high of the pre-market, the highs lows of the pre-market, that's being covered there for you right now. But we're just below that area there. And then last time we were there, here it is. So we're looking at July 2020. So July 2020, right in here, guys, we're gonna mark down this area here, 66.92. That's a possible, and then we'll do up here 69.57. And then right up here, 71.47. I know we got a lot here. I don't think we'll get to 60, of course. We're not doing that. But you got 71, 67, 69, 57, 66.92. I think those are some pretty good ones for AMD. And then towards the top, you got plenty from your last 2 trading days. So NVIDIA has been trading so well, guys, so clean. I mean, just to think this stuff was sitting at 100 plus here, now at 72. Here's NVIDIA, another one that's taking a nice. Why does my chart look like that? Taking a nice little hit here. Interesting. Why is it zooming in so weird on the daily? I definitely screw something up here. Let me change the ticker, see if it's doing it for. Oh, it's just an NVIDIA. Is that happening to you guys when you go to NVIDIA? Oh no, I fixed it. I don't know what I'm doing with this chart today. You can tell, guys, I am running on lack of sleep here. And when you run on lack of sleep, you shouldn't trade. And if you can even work the charts, you should definitely not trade. So that's an indicator there. So here it is, NVIDIA, guys. Low of the pre-market this morning, 141.83. That's a good level there. We'll slam that there. And then below this, what do we have here? If we look at to the left, we haven't been here. Similar to AMD, probably back to 2021 on March 2020. Man, we have a nice drop here. So a couple of days in here. I'm going to zoom in here. We do have 135.53. That's a good one there. And then down here, we do have 129. So some really good clean levels right on here, guys. You can clearly see how many touches we have around that area. So that is very, very good. So you want to mark that down on your list. Towards the top, highs and lows of the last 2 trading days are doing a pretty good job. Let's go over to CCL this morning. So CCL, if we look at that, let's see, CCL, here we go. We're surrounded by some good price action already. So we got a 850 here, highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. We have previous day close. And then towards the bottom, we have 778 as well. We probably pulled that level some time ago when we went back to the left here. So we're pretty good. So that's what looks good right now, guys. AMD, NVIDIA, CCL. Secondarily, we do have Oxy, which can get going. Their pre-market activity tends to be a little dull at first, but they still can put in a really good trading day. 61.84. Their price action, it's different, right? It's not as clean as an AMD or an NVIDIA, but it's not bad, right? So you just gotta watch it for a while if you haven't done so in the past. Get used to the way it moves, and you could find some really good opportunities on it. So just keep that in mind. Here's American Airlines, pretty quiet right now, but I suspect this thing is gonna get going today. Either way, up or down. I mean, right now the market is not helping things as it continues to sell off. If this thing starts losing some of these levels here at 370, we're going to see a lot of tickers come up on this gappers list that you can take advantage of. You know, and Apple, American Airlines, CCL, Travel, all that good stuff is going to be in play. AMD and NVIDIA are also going to be on there. Speaking of Apple, let's take a look at what's happening there. So if we look at Apple, I know they can get great volume. So already 714,000, not bad, but I thought it would be more by now. So I'll add Apple to the list as well. It's a good one to keep an eye on also. All right, AMD, NVIDIA, CCL, and Apple. We're done pretty early with this list, guys. There's not a lot out there that looks great. If you look at some of these companies, a lot of them are foreign. They don't trade very well. I'm not a big fan of them. We don't have many that are sitting in here. As we look towards the bottom of the gappers list, we're starting to see some more companies come up. Now we see Kohl's is coming up here. There's American Airlines. There's Apple taking a dive now. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna put the SPY right over here, see what's going on. So to quickly switch to it. Yeah, so as we continue to drop here, this list is going to get obviously more bigger, and we're going to see more tickers come up here. So Kohl's is making an appearance. Let's see what's happening there. Kohl's right now, not great volume, not great pre-market activity. Last week they had a huge drop here, and if I remember correctly, the start of it was very choppy. It didn't really do a whole lot at the start of the open. Yeah, this was just so bad. After having that drop, I remember actually I took a trade on this. Yes, I sat here for like 20 minutes. I went short here and it didn't do nothing. When I got out, then it decides to move down. But this was brutal. I recall this now. That's why I remember it was so choppy. I took a short here. It just didn't do anything until I got out. I think a candle before it actually dropped. But this was like almost 20 minutes. It was just brutal, waiting for it to do something. So definitely picked the wrong stock on Friday to watch. We got to break even on that. So maybe today they can do something. But again, pre-market needs a little more love there. Coin this morning is also on deck. It's down 3%. Coin could be a good one. This can trade well. Coin could be a nice one. We'll put that one on the secondary list here. Dan, Coast is on your list. Yeah, I think it was horrible Friday. But maybe today we will probably get a good move. Dan, I agree. I'll put it on my secondary list. Again, I'm preparing as if I'm going to trade because I want to just keep the process going. But today I'm probably not going to touch this thing with the way I'm feeling right now. Here's Cole's plug. Just kind of scanning to see this. It's a little early. If there's anything else here that we might take a look at. Maybe MU today can do something as well. I mean, the semi seems to be taking a hit. MU might be their day today, down 2.3. They had earnings last week, which actually were not great, but the stock didn't completely sell off a huge. It only got down like 5%, which is not bad given the way they reported things, or the way these semis have been reacting, right, to the whole market. So 175 is definitely higher volume than we usually see on MU. So maybe MU today could be one that we have on deck. So MU is good there. We have Roblox coming up here, so not much going on there. AMD, we have Tesla's another one that you can also, again, we're tech heavy right now because tech seems to be the stuff that's moving pretty decent with volume right now. So we'll look at Tesla as well. Again, most of these, for the most part, what I know, they do not have their own catalyst today. There might be some smaller catalysts in play, but these guys are not having a huge catalyst. Besides CCL, right? That was last week, and we saw the turnout of that. But for the most part, these guys are just moving with the overall market. And as you can see, as you scroll through our gap down list, you can start to see some names just come up all over the place here. So we'll stop here and just stick to our list for the most part. Guys, we have time for questions. We're done pretty early with our watches today. We have AMD, NVIDIA, CCL, Apple, and Tesla. If we start to see other things outside of the tech area that maybe is moving well, we can replace some of these tech companies we have here because we're very heavy on the tech side. Besides CCL, yeah, if you look at it closely, besides CCL, everything else here is more on the tech side. So we're tech heavy on this list today. TSM this week, yeah, TSM Semiconductor, which is actually very weak today. It is down 2.6. So this is one that might be in play today. Normally they don't trade very well, but we saw the action for them on Friday. They got some decent volume, higher than usual. And today already they're showing some good volume as far as 144, which for them is pretty decent, right? So and also showing some weakness here with the rest of the semiconductors. So today TSM could be the one that you can trade. And we saw TSM, was it what, probably, not sure if it was this year or last year. They went through a stretch of a week where they were really, really good. I think some of you guys were able to get some good trades out of that. So again, just make sure you're getting flow. Also check the spread. Make sure you're not going into a spread that looks very funky and wide. So just be mindful of those things as you are looking to, if you're looking to trade TSM. What else we have, guys? YM falling. What's YM? YM. I don't have that ticker. Is that ATF maybe? Chewy. What do we have on Chewy here? So Chewy, the volume is extremely light right now in Chewy, Jose. So I wouldn't be watching this one. It is just way too light right now, and it tends to be that way with Chewy. I mean, they don't get great volume. They're usually around what 4 million looks like. A couple of days they're hitting 7, but for the most part, they're very light on volume here this morning. Somehow they find to only, this day here they traded 7 million, and they can go from 33 to 37. So that's usually going to give you a bit of a choppy price action, or the spread might be a little funky. So just be careful with this one. I traded in the past plenty of times, but for the most part, it's been some big news or big catalyst that has moved it a bit. All right, what else we got, guys? What else you like, guys? What else you like? We do have more time here. As you can see, only 9:02. Apologies for my voice as we're running on fumes this morning. As I was mentioning earlier, both of my kids sick, both with fevers, 103, 102. It's just been insane this weekend. It's funny, I had people over and yesterday because I had planned a barbecue and a get together. And it was like, okay, here's the backyard. I'll see you guys later. Me and my wife were inside the whole time with the kids. It sucked, but it was close family and friends, so they understood very well. Neo looking real good. So Neo, yeah, Neo's got some good volume here, 887,000 right now. I mean, if I were to trade today, I probably wouldn't have this one on deck. I want to make sure this thing that came out on them, it's done for, right? And then we can look at them again. But for the most part, I think there's better things to look at than Neo. It's just my opinion, right? Especially today with the tech side, guys. I mean, let's look at the volume and the movement that you're getting in the pre-market, right? Look at this NVIDIA drop here. That is just beautiful. Look at the loss of this 141. It is just trading so well, guys. I mean, this thing looks like it's open right now. Like if you're trading pre-market, this is tradable. If you're a pre-market trader, this is tradable. CCO not so much, a little bit on the choppier side, but all tech, Apple looking to break down here as well. And Tesla, same thing, right? So these are looking really nice. You look at these and then you start looking at Some other ones like Neo, although they're putting in a good, decent action. You know, you if you don't have this on your list today, you're not missing out, right? You're gonna have some other things that are moving well this morning. All right, so more here. Oxy's losing it. Did they start moving? I have them on my second day. Oh, yes, they did start moving. Going from red to green here. So Oxy throwing down some volume, 402,000 right now. So that's good. Yeah, Oxy's gonna be in play today. Let's move Oxy up here to our main list. And we'll do levels for Oxy because we didn't do that. Let's get rid of that. We got levels for AMD, guys. For those who are just joining us, we have 71, 47, 69, 57 towards the bottom, and then towards the top, you're taking care for NVIDIA. Did we lose those for NVIDIA? We did. This is our pre-market low here that we just broke. I'm still going to keep this level here, guys, by the way. This 141, I'm going to keep that there. We got a new pre-market low down here now at 140. But this is such a great area consolidation that I will keep that. This one, not so much. If they make a new low, I'll move this down. But this here, you have to keep this level. I mean, we had a nice little battle here. We lost it now, but that's a good level to have on deck. Then towards the bottom of that, you have 135, 135, 53, 129, 42. CCL starting, man, CCL is getting violent, but it's not moving. It's just like stuck here. It's not doing anything right now. So really, really crappy pre-market activity for CCL. I mean, you got volume here. It's got to be a couple of block trades because this does not represent a million shares trade. It's just so bad. The way look at this here too, the way these wicks formed, that is horrible pre-market activity. So we have them on here. We know Travis sector can get going pretty quickly. So we'll have to see what it does here. Here's Apple. Apple's looking good. We didn't do levels for Apple. Let's do that now. We do have low of the pre-market 137.20. So 137.20 low of the pre-market there. And then towards the top, the high of the pre-market is all the way in green territory. It's up at 140. Is that correct? Yeah. So it's up at 140 22. So that's Apple's pre-market high right now. And then you're literally surrounded by the highs and lows of the last two trading days. You're really right in the center of that. You do not need to add any more levels on Apple. You're pretty much taken care of there. Tesla highs and lows of the last two trading days. You're sitting right at the lows from the 3 trading days ago. This one here, Friday, and also Wednesday. So right there, you can see clearly there's an area of support for this stock. Plenty of stuff happening around that level. So we're just hanging out right slightly above that. High of the pre-market above the previous day close at 685. And once you do those two levels, I think you're pretty much set on Tesla here. So don't have to do a whole lot this morning for Tesla. Here is Oxy, guys. Let's take a look at Oxy at the moment. High of the pre-market on Oxy. We're starting to get some good volume here too, if you can see that there. 61.88 high of the pre-market. The low of the pre-market at the moment 59.54. Might not stay there the way this thing is moving right now. So we'll see. Right now, slamming right against that low there. But I think it's a level you still keep. And here's the reason why. If you draw a line here where we're sitting at right now, what do you see? You're seeing areas of support and resistance happening right along this line. So you still want to keep that on there. I mean, these two are hitting it right on the head there. So you still want to keep this 59.54. Even if we do drop below this, that's going to be a good level to have on Oxy. And then if you were to look closely in the middle here, you do have an area right at 58.28. But I'll wait to see what the new pre-market low is going to be if this continues here. So yeah, actually getting some volume, looking rather weak this morning. I think that can provide some opportunities today as well. And then we have MU, which again, MU looks really good. Didn't we move MU up? I thought we moved MU up today. Maybe not. Okay. But MU does look really good today. Coin looks interesting. Then we have American Airlines, Amazon, and Kohl's. Some pretty good possibles here that can get going. I think Kohl's is our sleeper today. Look out for Kohl's. Big drop yesterday. Not yesterday, I'm sorry. Big drop on Friday on the gap down there. So didn't do a whole lot, didn't trade very well, very, very choppy, even with the volume. Let's see if today they settle down and they actually give us some moves. So I agree with Dan on that one. I think that's a good one to watch today. All right, excellent, guys. We are set. Questions, anything we can answer? Which EMA, SMA am I using? So I'm using, I believe it's EMA on these. Actually, we can check. It's a way to check here. I don't know how do we get to these? Is it data? Config, study config. Here we go, study config. Yeah, so we're using, I know it was EMA for some and SMA for some, so we're using EMA for the 9 and the 20, and then SMA for the 50 and the 200. So that's the way I have that set up. That's the way we're using Cohen. on our chart. That is good. That is good pre-market volume on Oxy as well. Yeah, Anthony, I agree. Oxy's got good pre-market volume. 453. That's decent for Oxy because normally, we've been watching Oxy for quite some time. They don't get crazy volume, but that 454, that's good volume for them. We can expect hopefully to see something good out of these guys today. And we know they can trade well. That's not a surprise, right? We've seen Oxy trade really, really good when they're trending in one direction. And today is starting really nice with this pre-market right now, especially in the last couple of 15 minutes here in the pre-market. So that is looking good. Um, What's the news on CCL as the broader travel sector? Anton, I mean, the news on CCL, the big news was last week, which again, it probably wasn't new, but it just came to the forefront. The amount of debt that they're in, right? That's not new, right? That doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time, and obviously, we're seeing CCL try to recover after the pandemic, and then just slam right back down because, again, travel. If you're in travel business, you're not your phone is not ringing off the hook if you're in the travel business right now, or at least your emails are not going off the hook because I don't know who calls people now anymore. But you get what I'm saying. It is just not a good deal. So, can you imagine the maintenance of? I mean, owning a boat to begin with. If you own a boat, it is extremely expensive to own 15 feet of property on the ocean. So now imagine these cruise liners. It's basically a whole town. Just to maintain it, whether it's moving or not, you got to maintain this stuff. That is not cheap. And if you're not getting travel and that stuff is sitting there in the water, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. So the news last week was that the amount of debt that they have incurred has been an issue, and that's going to play a big part whether CCL has to find other means to be able to fund their situation here. So they're down 4.1 million shares traded. Yeah, this will be in play for a while. Let's keep a close eye on it and see how it goes. So. Oh, Anton, no problem. That's what we're here for. So if you were out of town, you couldn't keep up with what's going on, we got you, man. That's the part of being part of a community. One of the best parts is to be able to ask questions in case you miss something that was big, because it's hard to keep up with every single thing that comes out, right? It's a full-time job. You try to keep up with every catalyst that is out there. Sometimes Norman and I don't know something. We'll ask the community, "Hey, have you guys heard something?" And somebody will know something, right? So it helps big time to be sitting here with a couple of people that have the same mindset. They're trying to do the same thing here. Anyone else have problems with that resetting, altering layouts? No, I haven't reset my layout in a while. So, but no, it looks pretty good. So no issues there. Owen, guys, what about RMED? It is slow flow penny stock. Let's take a look. Penny stock here, RMED. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm saying that, but somebody that trades a penny stock, that's a penny stock trader is probably salivating over this over here. They're probably going nuts. But yeah, it's just that this does not fit my trading criteria at all. I mean, 51%. It's definitely in play. Whatever it is, it's in play. And again, if they have a catalyst, even better. RMED, maybe they got some vaccine or something going on. That can get your stock going. But yeah, if you're a penny stock trader, RMED is in play. You want to have that on deck. New request is trading terminal simulator provided by BBT just for charting. Watching, there's no way to add stop loss. No, so the trading simulator is for you to it's really for you to practice your your executions, right? And just kind of get familiar with the chart. So make sure you sign up to the alerts because then AIM is going to send you some information for you to practice on. But it's specifically for you to be able to play the action of that day and be able to see how the stock traded. Because again, guys, when you're trading live for the first time, especially, things are moving really fast. You're looking at AMD when it goes live, Apple when it goes live, and it feels like it's moving 100 miles per hour. So, if you're a new trader, you can actually replay that action and see, okay, did I miss something? Could I have taken this trade a little bit better? What could I have done differently here? And that's what the simulator is for if you're a brand new trader and want to get more screen time. But again, after hours, everything is dead. There's nothing moving. So the way to get that screen time is that you go to the simulator and you replay that day, replay that ticker. It's just going to make you a better trader for you to react quicker to certain things or spot things rather quickly. If you're an experienced trader, I go back and use it to see, okay, how did I screw this up? How did I get into this bad trade? Did I chase this? And sometimes I find out, I did everything right. It just did not work out. And other times I look at myself and, bang my head on the desk. Like, why would you do that? Right. So the simulator is a great way to go back and see what actually happened. And if you did things correctly or so forth, if you're an experienced trader. So many ways you can use it. But that's what the simulator is for. I gave you just two of the top ones I think people use it for, but there could be other things you can do as well. All right, guys, I think we're all set. Our list today, we're looking at, I'll wait for our moderators to kind of throw their list out together. And for our list right now, we are looking at AMD, NVIDIA, CCL. Again, tech sector is looking very good, very active right now. CCL, it's got tons of volume, but pre-market's not looking great. I might move down CCL. I mean, it's not looking too good. Apple here, again, looking good as well. The whole tech sector is very active right now with 847. We have Tesla, which is also very active, and also Oxy, really weak at the moment, dropping below the previous day close with some decent volume. Let's see if they can keep this volume here. So you got the ramp going, you're slightly below that 40,000 shares traded, or right at 40,000 the last 15 minutes. Let's see if that can continue to go there. But again, this is a very active pre-market for Oxy, probably one of the most active pre-market actions we've seen out of Oxy for some time. So all right, let's get our moderators list here, guys. Let's bring that over. As I'm doing this, hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. And again, apologies, I am running on like zero sleep this morning, so things were a little bit out of wacky, but we got through it. I will not be trading today. I am going to go back and take care of the kids here, and hopefully they're doing well. My wife hasn't texted me, so that's a good thing. If they were not doing well, my wife would have been slamming on that phone, get in here. All right, guys, here is Dima this morning looking at Oxy, Baba, AMD, and Apple. Susan is looking at Apple, Oxy, the Qs, and the SPY. Megan looking at AMD, Qs, NVIDIA, and PDD. And we'll see some other ones come up here as well. So we'll wait a little bit to see more other moderators come up with their list also here. So thank you, Susan. Appreciate it very much. Yes, it's not fun at all. It's definitely not fun. Let's see what else we have, guys. Oh, we're sitting at 220. I forgot about this. 221 likes. We'd love to get to 400 before we hop off here in the next 1 minute. Actually, we're leaving right now. Jerry, looking at AMD, NVIDIA, Oxy, and volatility ETFs this morning. So we'll see if Brian comes up with his list here. I'm not sure if he's in yet, but we'll see if Brian has his list to throw down so far, and then we'll let you guys go. So 9:16 Eastern time, guys. Welcome back to trading. Short week as we get things rolling here, so just be mindful of that. But the SPY's moving well. Looks like things got great volume this morning. We're starting a little bit weak today. After another red week, let's see how it goes. Here's Andrew firing up his machine. He's going to be going live shortly. Here's Brian's list, guys. RBCN, XPEV, Lee, Baba, Oxy, TQQQs, and SQQQs for Brian. And Brian and Andrew will be trading live next. So, guys, over on YouTube, if you haven't done so, hit that thumbs up. Also, join us this evening at 7 p.m. Eastern time for the onboarding class. So, we'll go over our chat room here, some of the features you'll get, what you get access to, and just our whole entire environment. So make sure you do that, guys. We'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Take care, trade safe, and have an amazing trading day. Have a good one, guys.